What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Backstop Banter. Hosting, as always, it's your boy Connie, the guy to my right. Co-hosting with me, as always, Mr. Michael. How we doing?
Yes, sir. A little bit rushed, a little bit overwhelmed, but you know what? We're here. That's all that matters. It's been a busy day. Literally walked in the door, came straight home. My wife already had me a glass of water fixed. Thank you, honey. And had the computer
How'd she
turned
fix
on.
it? What was wrong with it?
The cup was empty. She poured water in it and put
Oh, so she got you a glass of water.
Well, I mean, she put the stuff together to make water.
I'm not sure how she fixed it. Well, I don't think it was broken.
Is water wet? I don't
Yes.
understand that argument. Like, how can you argue that water is wet?
Something about the molecules, something that I don't actually care about, but I hate people that say water isn't wet. You're trying too hard. You're
just
trying too hard, bro.
Yeah, like I've heard people say it's not wet, but it makes things wet. Like, because it is wet. But you know what? I'm doing okay, surviving. I'm really excited now that I got home from work because 1, football is on. We know that. 2, we get to talk baseball. And 3, I'm on a 3-day weekend. So I'm excited
look at this
about
guy.
that. Yes, sir.
Love that for you. Who doesn't love a
Thank
good
you.
3-day weekend?
Thank
I've
you.
had a. Let's see. What's today? Thursday.
Mhm.
I've had a one. I've had a 6-day weekend. Well, I'm in the middle of my 6-day weekend because I only had class Monday, and then Thursday, unless you were recording something for our class, you didn't have to go to class. So, AKA today. So I didn't have any class today, so I've been chilling all day, having a grand old dandy old time.
Oh, so this is a part of one of your classes?
What?
Did you say because you're recording something you don't have to?
No. So it is my podcasting class, to be, weirdly enough. But I already recorded my episode on Tuesday with my group. So
Okay.
Today was another recording day for other groups, and I wasn't
Gotcha.
So I had all day off.
Awesome. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah,
that's
wonderful.
cool.
Oh, absolutely wonderful.
Well, I will say this. The reason I have a 3-day weekend, I had something that was planned that was going to go on. I was doing like a trying to help out a community here. We had a special needs Olympics that was going to go on, and they actually asked me to announce it. But, of course, with the hurricane coming through, some things has happened. Are we expecting some rain? So they've postponed it, and actually I took a vacation day so I could actually do that. And they've moved it to the next Saturday, so I'm not going to be available to do the MC, if you will. So I hate that, but it's cool, and I hope the event it's a hit next week. So if you're here in Harlan, come up to the Shriners because it's. Do you know what the Shriners? Do y'all have Shriners in New York? Never heard of Shriners?
I've heard of I thought that was a children's hospital.
Well, okay, it's an organization that has the hospital. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't think I've ever had to go visit one.
Okay.
So there's possible.
Okay. Well, you probably have them if you have a hospital up that way. But anyways, it's helped out with our Harlan County Christian School and the Shriners are working together to make the event possible. So, yeah, should be next Saturday.
I see. There you go. Look, Jimmy.
Thank you,
has
Jimmy.
it covered. Everybody has it. Okay. Hey, fair enough. I thought, listen, at first, I didn't know if we were talking about like a store or something because I was going to be real confused.
No. Sorry.
But no, I've definitely heard of Shriners Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Definitely heard of that one. But, we go on.
It's worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide. Nationwide, at least.
Another good news, since I looked at my cup, with that nice bass on there, on the back it says Daddy. It was my Father's Day present last year. I'm going to go fishing in the morning with one of my buddies. We
Still never been fishing in my life.
Are you serious?
I have zero, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Desire?
Yeah. Zero.
Why don't you have any desire?
Because why do I want to stand on a boat and not even know if I'm going to catch anything?
Okay.
The only way I'm going fishing is if I'm getting drunk. Only way.
That sounds even more dangerous if you're on a boat drunk because...
I've been on cruise ships before.
Okay, we're going bass fishing. Okay. So it's a smaller flat boat that can go fast, and then you pull up and imitate bait to trick them into thinking that it's bait and they attack. It's kind of that's a thrill. And if you've ever watched any video watching top water bites,
Yeah, can't say I have.
you might get addicted because when you're actually live and you're doing a top water bait and one bites, man, it's pretty awesome. See the fish come up out of water out of nowhere and attack it. Gets a adrenaline going there. I'm telling you. Have you ever been hunting?
No.
What's the most, I'm going to say, redneck thing that you've ever done? That's pitiful.
I don't know. What's redneck?
I mean, country.
I've driven through some mud a couple times.
I mean, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I don't know. A little go-kart. We were younger. Go through some mud.
Okay.
Have fun.
Do you call it ATV or four-wheeler?
I call it a four-wheeler.
Okay. Have you ever rode a four-wheeler?
Yeah, several times.
Okay.
I have one. Two, actually.
Okay. Do you have mountains?
No.
I have to pronunciate my T's with you because, we don't do that around here.
I mean,
grilling
we have
hot dogs.
I'm a big fan of grilled hot dogs.
Absolutely. Are you a brat guy or a hot dog?
I mean,
Polish sausage?
I don't know. I think I'd take either one. I don't know how many brats I've had in my life.
Okay. That's fair.
I would take sausage over both, though. Grilled Italian sausage on a nice, on a nice roll, little cheese on top, delicious.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
You never had a sausage sandwich?
I don't think so.
How is that even? See, to me, I don't know how that's possible. You never had Italian sausage on a roll. Most people put, the onions, peppers on it. I don't like peppers and onions. So
Are you talking about a Polish sausage? Is that what it is?
No, like an Italian. Oh, you never had an Italian spicy sausage?
I don't know because we call something down here a Polish sausage, and I've always wondered what it is. But I always thought it was like a brat. I mean, maybe we need like a hot dog education.
So I can't.
What's the difference in a brat or a brat and a Polish sausage? You know what? I'm looking up Italian sausage right now.
Italian sausage is fantastic. In fact, I had it a couple days ago. Had it on a nice roll. Put some mozzarella cheese on top, melted.
See, I love mozzarella cheese.
Or you put a little Parmesan on there as well. Come on.
I mean, it sounds heavenly. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
It is. Sausage sandwich sounds weird. Now you guys are weird.
It sounds weird, but the dressings that you're talking about sounds pretty good.
It's like that's like one of the most. They sell it at Yankee Stadium. That's how common it is. Nice Italian sausage on a roll. Maybe even some Italian bread if you feel like it.
Okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I've had those before. But we don't have them the way you're having them. That actually sounds a lot better.
That doesn't even make sense.
I'll be honest with you. What my kids call them is flat tires. Now, let me elaborate. What we do, we actually cook them on the grill. We'll cut them up.
Cut them in half and then?
No, we cut them in like discs, if you will. Yeah. Slices there that way. And then put them with like potatoes, carrots, and a bunch of vegetables like that. And we'll like put them in a aluminum foil, put it all in there with a big thing of butter, let it all serenade together. And they act like they think they're flat tires. That's what they've always called them. Granted, they're 5. Do you know I have 3 5-year-olds now?
I do.
How crazy is that? So, yes, I've had an Italian sausage, but never had it. I mean, when you say a roll, are you talking about like just bread or what?
Yeah, like you guys. Now we don't know what a roll is either.
Well, I mean, it's Italian, and again, I'm just trying to make sure.
Just a normal roll, just a nice like you would get at Subway almost like a roll.
Now, when you say mozzarella, are you talking real? Like it's not the shredded cheese?
No. If you want to really make it, you would probably do that. But we've got time for all of that.
Dude, this actually sounds nice with that.
Sausages and peppers. Oh, sausages and peppers is made like at least twice a month in this house.
Oh yeah. See, I'm not a big peppers fan.
I don't. I'm not either. I just eat the sausage on the roll. My dad likes the sausage and peppers.
Oh yeah. So I do like carrots in there when they're cooked very well.
Not a carrot guy either.
Really? That's about the only.
I am also fat, so it probably don't take your for the children out there. It probably don't take your nutrition advice from me. But
it's all right.
Not a big vegetable guy.
Do you ever eat?
Josh, am I gonna have to pull up a picture of a roll of bread? Like, what are you talking about right now?
Well, see, I asked the same question. So, Josh, I'm with you. Like, the reason I ask roll, like, is it a certain, like, it's a hot dog bun, but it's a roll top?
Like,
that's why I was asking.
Let me find one. That looks like
you're going to share your screen so we know what you mean by roll.
What do you guys call it? Do you guys call it a hoagie? Is that why, you freaks?
I don't know. Let me see a picture of it. I'll let you know.
Like this right here is a roll.
Is it like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich bread that you use?
Like from Subway? I've never heard it called a roll. What are you talking about? So, all right. So, what do you call this then? No. What do you call this then? Hold on.
Oh, let me bring up Josh's second comment here.
What do you call it?
A roll is what you. Okay, yeah, that's just bread. I mean, that's a sandwich bread. That you call that a roll? I mean, that really looks like Subway sandwich right there.
That's a roll.
That's a Subway roll? That's not what they call it.
And I mean, you're wrong, honestly, because this right here actually says 12-inch French roll. That's what it says.
Okay, what website are you on?
I don't know. Store.com.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, that's
not just bread. You cut it in the middle. You cut it right down in half this way, sideways.
That's $53.
Listen, I think that this is like.
I bet you, Jared. I bet you that's like a whole bundle that you cook.
Like this is like
a store.
This is like a restaurant wholesale website. That's why.
Of course, it is New York. Their inflation's probably way worse than Kentucky's.
Well, yeah, you guys can buy things for 35 cents and think it's expensive.
I wish we could buy things that cheap. Now, you know what? Let me do some of my own.
I know what you guys mean. A roll was also like little.
A roll. A roll is a roll.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. We call those rolls as well. But like
you call those rolls a roll? Okay.
But like if my mom said, "Do you want a sandwich?" I'll buy rolls. I'm not thinking she's going to buy a roll this big. I know what she's buying.
I'm with Josh. I've never been so much with Josh's comment here ever in my life than I feel this one here.
I mean, hey, does the bread wear a mask when you buy it? I mean, hey, does your bread get along with its sister really well? Like, I don't know.
Looks like so, and I'm not trying to keep at this because we need to get into baseball.
Yeah, I was gonna say 13 minutes, by the way.
But when you go to Food City, when you go to Subway, like, do you say I need wheat roll or like Italian cheese roll?
Yeah,
Italian roll.
A herb and cheese roll.
Herb and cheese roll.
What do you want? Okay. What are you supposed to say?
I say wheat bread. Because they ask you what kind of bread do you want. They don't say what bread. Yeah, they don't say what kind of roll do you want.
You can even look on the labels when you buy stuff here. It's called a roll.
Okay, I mean, we have gravy and biscuits. You don't, so I mean,
what other words do you use for types of bread? I think this is just my household. This is just a my household thing, though. Like, what do you call white bread?
Oh, now
no, not the roll thing. Not the roll.
Oh, okay.
What do you call white bread? Do you call it white bread?
I call it bread.
Like the Wonder Bread, right? Do you like a loaf of Wonder Bread? You just call it bread.
Bread. Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of weird. Well, just calling things bread is kind of weird to me. Like you don't call it anything else. Like go get a sandwich. Go get a loaf of bread. I could come back with 85 different things.
Okay, it's hot dog buns, it's hamburger buns, and it's bread.
But there's the other ones are types buns. Of bread.
What other? No, the other ones are rolls, and they're called rolls. Like, what other breads are there?
If you said get bread, I could come back with the white Wonder Bread, I could come back with the thing that I call a roll.
You would be right.
So if I came back with something that I call a roll? All you said is bread. That's bread. It's still bread. I mean, even a little roll is bread.
If I asked you to get bread and you came back with a roll, technically that's sandwich bread. So yeah, I could use it. So I would be fine.
The fact
it's not a roll.
It's really annoying, though.
Do what?
The fact that you're not being specific about which one you want, though, is quite annoying.
It's bread. It's for sandwiches, right?
I mean, yeah, but what if I came back with all of a sudden I come back with pumpernickel?
I don't even know what pumpernickel is.
Well, it's a type of bread.
I figured as much, but okay. So
and you wanted white bread.
Okay. If I told you,
exactly. If I tell someone to get bread and they come back with raisin bread, I'm fighting them. But all you're saying is bread. You're not saying what type of bread.
He didn't say raisin bread. That's doing extra. Don't do extra. It's bread. It's as bland as it can be. It's bread.
No.
There's nothing extra.
That's like saying
if you come back with wheat bread. I didn't say wheat. I want bread.
How am I supposed to know? All you said is bread.
Exactly. That's all I want is bread. I don't want anything extra.
There's 95 different types of bread.
No, there's not. There's added to those breads.
Italian bread.
It's Italian, which is usually has some kind of seasoning, right?
Not really.
Yeah, it's a roll, ain't it?
I've never been more in your. I mean, it's fine. Like you guys can be on each other's side. It's stupid.
No. I mean,
in the South, when we say bread, it means white bread is the most common type of bread purchased. If we want special type of bread, we will specify. I mean, I guess you guys got to make everything as simple as possible down there. I know how the brain works, so
No, you're complicating things that way overrated. Like, I mean, if you want biscuits, what do you say? I want bread.
Like a biscuit, like a little thing?
No, like a canned biscuit. Like exactly, you have to say canned biscuits, right?
I would just say get some biscuits.
Okay, but it's bread. What if I went and got bread? How is it not bread? It's biscuit.
It's biscuits. All right. So exactly, you could tell me to go get bread, and I'll come back with biscuits, and I'll say, "Well, that's bread."
You literally just told me it's not bread.
Well, according to you, it's bread. So if I go out and get that, when you tell me to get bread, I don't want any complaints. I would say go get a roll, or something like that. It depends on just like you. Okay, just like
I want you to know this right now.
It's very easy. If we're making like a little breakfast sandwich, and I say to go get a roll, then I know I want a little roll. Or if I'm making a sandwich, I say, yeah, go get a roll. I obviously know it has to be a longer roll.
I promise you this. If I tell you to go get bread and you come back with your roll, I'm okay because I can have sandwiches on it. It's fine.
I know it's a baseball show, but Michael just keeps,
No, you're being very argumentative right now.
No, it's not argument. It's factual.
Point proven that you said that.
It's not arguing. I'm just saying.
But you know what? All I know is this podcast better bring me some bread.
Well, that would be nice. Well, I mean, we can finally get into the things that this podcast is supposed to be about. Oh, here we go.
But speaking of bringing me bread and talking about food, guys, if you haven't had Java Seeds, you can go to thejavaseeds.com and use our promo code Banter and get 20% off your whole purchase. And we get a little bit kickback from that. So help us get rolls, if you will. Thejavaseeds.com, Banter as the promo code. Get your seeds. It's coffee with sunflower seeds. Keeps you awake.
Exactly. Who doesn't love a good sunflower seed? I'd say 90% of Americans love some coffee. It's the best of both worlds. It's like Hannah Montana. You get the best of both worlds. Don't worry, Michael. You're too old to understand that, but Josh right now absolutely knows what I'm talking about.
Because it was Miley Cyrus in Hannah Montana? No,
man. But that was the intro to the Hannah Montana show.
I know, man. I'm very diverse. Okay.
Hey, banger, by the way. Doesn't hold a candle to the Zoe 101 theme song, but, it's all right.
Speaking of bangers, there's a guy that bangs a lot with a bat and ball. I think you may know who he is.
W reference. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I know exactly who it is. That's why I had to pull out the best jersey in all sports right here. Put on the Yankee jersey one time. Got Judge on the back. Don't worry about it. But
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
listen, first of all, I'm not standing up and turning around, so you're gonna have to
because it says Jeter, guys. We all
Actually,
know it's a Jeter jersey.
No, see, I have a fake Jeter jersey because the Jeter jersey I have has his name on it, and well, that's a disgrace if you're a Yankee.
Okay, gotcha.
This is a authentic Judge jersey, just a number 99 on the back, no name.
Don't believe it.
That's fine. I mean, see, look, no name. There's no
Nope.
name.
No jersey or no number either.
Well, listen, I'm not getting up, so. But yeah, ties Roger Maris with 61 home runs. Imagine dropping that ball. Listen, I see people saying that and like attacking the people on Twitter. They had to lean over a 20-foot railing and try and catch that ball at the same time. I don't know. I think I'm good because if I fell and all of a sudden broke the back, I don't know if getting the ball was worth it.
I'm just going to ask you this.
I mean, Jared, you're just the biggest hater that's ever been in this comment section. So I expect nothing less from you.
He's a Cardinals fan. So
that's okay. The Cardinals are second to the Yankees and everything. No wonder he's still mad. World Series, division titles, World Series.
The past decade, it's been more Cardinals. I mean, I'll have to fight them on that one.
I mean,
or agree with him on that.
If we're going to live in the past, then because we're going in the past decade, let's really live in the past and 27.
Because actually, Boston's owned the AL East in the past decade too.
Not really. They've won a couple World Series, yeah, but they've also finished last the most in the division in the last 10 years.
Actually, they've won the division 4 out of 10, the most of anyone.
They've also finished last the most. They finished last more than the Orioles.
But they've got more ones. Like, that's better, isn't it?
Well, you've also been terrible. So, I mean, listen, I wouldn't want that.
You'd rather be more mediocre constantly than number ones?
I mean, the Yankees have never been mediocre. They're in the playoffs every year. They made the playoffs 26 of the last 28 years, by the way.
It's going to be a long night.
I'm just saying, would you rather make the playoffs 26 out of 28 years and have a chance every season or come in dead last? I mean, you're a Reds fan, so, I mean, coming in dead last is like in your blood. But
absolutely. I mean, I'm fine with that. It's okay with the shot, but I would rather have a World Series under my belt in the past decade than just be, we were close for 10 years, which the Reds haven't at all in that, but we're talking about Boston and Yankees here. So, or even the Cardinals as well.
Would you jump over for the price of that ball? See, that's where
yes.
No, I'm not. See, because that's the tying home run. Like, you're going to get some money for it, yeah, but the 62, when he eventually does break it, hopefully in these next 7 games, that's the one that's like $2.5 million. That's the one I'm going all out for. I'm throwing elbows at children, grandmothers, whatever you want. I'm getting my $2.5 million.
I'm just going to be honest. If I have a chance to catch either one of the balls, I'm probably really debating jumping over that. Because if I go to jail, I'm going to give that ball to someone else real quick and sell that ball real fast. If it's the tying one, as in just hit, go ahead and put that on eBay and get rid of that.
Here's the real question, though.
You're right.
First, hold on. Let's rewind a little bit, because let's get to the part of him actually breaking it. Okay. So he hits his 60th home run.
I'm so glad you guys are with me.
I mean,
hey, let's
Josh is well. Listen, we know Jared is always going to be with you, and Josh is always anti-me.
Me and Jared have disagreed more than you've put on.
I've literally never seen you guys disagree on the show one time. Not once.
Well, that might be this show, but in real life, can't stand the man.
See, look, Josh is always Team Michael, so I mean, I can't really compete. Oh my God, Tyreek Hill. That's one of the greatest catches I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Thank you for helping me out in fantasy.
Is it just now coming through to yours? Wow, that's fast.
What, the one at like the 2-yard line?
The bobble?
Yeah. Well, see, that's the annoying thing with Prime. On my phone, it's up to date with everybody else's, but on my TV, it's behind.
Really? Because that's what I'm watching is Prime.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very annoying. Well, yeah. McGuire and Sosa were also injecting themselves, once a week to, get to that point.
We'll get there, Jared. We'll get there. Let's celebrate a little bit of Judge because it's a milestone for
61
sure.
years this hasn't happened.
So let's give credit where it's due. Judge, not only is he hitting dingers, he's also leading in pretty much quadruple crowned, if you will, or at least in the argument. I haven't seen it in a while. So
yeah, he's leading. It's funny. He's leading the triple crown by .001 for batting average. I think he's batting 314, like 4.3.
Mm-hmm.
And Luis Ariz of the Twins is batting like 314, 4.2. So, okay. I mean,
because I know he wasn't second for a day, and I hadn't seen since. So, I mean, he's at least there, and that's probably going to be the hardest thing that he could end up losing if he does.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. I think with this finally being over, because he hit his 60th home run against it was a bad team, I thought. Why can't I think of who it was right now?
Boston?
No, it wasn't Boston because that's when he was going for it to tie the record. I can't remember. I can't.
Was it Kansas City?
I lied. It was the Pirates.
Pirates.
He hits and that's honestly one of the greatest football games I've ever. In football, I'm watching football. One of the better baseball games I had ever seen. So, bottom of the ninth inning, Yankees are down 5. No, they're down 4. I'm sorry. Judge hits a home run in the bottom of the ninth to lead off the inning. His 60th of the year. Obviously, the place is going crazy. Cool, everything. And this is why I think a lot of people like Judge. Like, even if you're not a Yankee fan, a normal Yankee hater, like the crowd is there to see him. Mm-hmm. Like, you're playing the Pirates. The Yankees mostly had the division like locked up. You're down 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth. You're not really expecting too much. Judge comes up. Everybody is going wild. He hits the home run. And weirdly enough, like, he hits the home run and people start leaving. It's like they're not even staying to see like, oh, maybe they're going to make this masterful comeback, because once he does his thing, it's like, okay, well, we can go now. So he hits the home run, makes it because I believe they ended up winning the game 9-8. So what? He made it a 9-6 game or 8-6 game, I want to say. Rizzo hits a double. I believe Gleyber Torres walked. Then somebody hit a really hard. I think somebody hit an infield single. Bases loaded. And then Giancarlo Stanton comes up and hits a walk-off grand slam to win that game. And Michael, obviously, everybody after the game, okay, interview Judge. And he won't come out of the dugout because he wanted Stanton to have his moment. So it's like the little things like that where like he's very selfless and he doesn't want the spotlight. And you like speaking on that is why I feel like it took him, and I put this in air quotes if you're listening to the pod, so long to tie the record. Because I think that was his 7th game in a row without hitting a home run. And I mean, it was the 8th inning when he hit the home run to tie Mayer. So he was about to go 8 games without hitting a home run. I think his longest streak of the season is 9 games. His second longest streak of the season had been 7 games. Mm-hmm. And
I don't know. I'm just saying, with you. Sorry.
No, I assumed.
Okay.
So then after the Pirates, they play the Red Sox, and everybody, 4-game series. Everybody's really excited, hoping that he's going to do it at Yankee Stadium. And I think that's when it started getting to him. I think it like this whole time leading up to it, because like I said, I've probably watched every single at bat he's had this year. Like you could tell nothing had really bothered him. And I mean, how could it really bother you at any point? You're playing in New York, which is the biggest, media capital, with everybody shoving a microphone in your face because you're already having a great season.
It's
and
Los
then,
Angeles, but that's
well, they don't care as much as New York about their sports. I mean, everybody. Los Angeles?
Well, I mean, the
everybody
celebrity
comes to
part of
games
it.
like the 4th. Well, yeah. But I mean, like the media here, there's 3 different newspapers that are interviewing at all times. People just listen. I don't think it's really that much of a hot take. That people care about sports in New York more than California, especially when the joke at Dodger games is they don't come until the fourth inning. Anyway, so he's playing in New York. He's already playing for a contract. So he's had pressure the entire season. Mm-hmm. But, like, you could see it finally getting to him because he was batting like 480 in the month of September, which is unbelievable. This month is what really got him into the Triple Crown category, because I think he was at like 300, 299 for a long time. And then September, he ends up batting 480. So now he's all the way up to 314. I think he's still tied with the Rise. And then Xander Bogaerts was up there with them, but he's in a little bit of a slump. He dropped down to 309. So I think it finally started to get to him. You can see that there was a little bit of an uppercut in his swing, trying to lift the ball, which he doesn't do because, well, he doesn't really have to. He's a 6'8", 285-pound person who flicks his wrist and all of a sudden it's a home run.
Pretty much.
And then, he's fouling off the pitches that you've seen him the entire season crush for home runs. And then they go away to Toronto, and I kind of thought that's when he would tie it, just because, Michael, I mentioned it last time we were on here, that it became really weird. And I think we both know, like watching baseball and everything, and everybody that does, that if one sport is creature of habit, it is baseball. Like, they really like to do their thing and not have it interrupted. Pitchers throw on the same day. They have the same routine. Right. We talk about superstitions all the time. And the New York crowd, he's coming up to the plate. Everybody gets their phones out. Everybody's up cheering. Stadium's loud as ever. The pitch is thrown in. You could hear a pin drop. Like, it was weird. And that throws you off a little bit.
Because absolutely.
Because you're all of a sudden like, why aren't you guys doing the thing you've been doing the entire season? So he goes away to Toronto, where, it's a hostile crowd, and obviously, they're still playing for something. They were still trying to clinch a playoff spot. The Yankees, which, by the way, Michael, shout out your guy Vlad for giving us some ammunition. He hits a nice little walk-off single against the Yankees in the first game of that series. Like he just won a World Series, talking about, this is my house, yelling into the camera, this is my house. Yankees beat them the next day, clinched the division. Got to celebrate in Toronto on their field. Great job by Michael K, by the way, at the end of the broadcast. He said, thanks to Vladimir Guerrero for letting the Yankees use his house to celebrate.
That's funny.
I loved it. Absolutely. As a Yankee fan, you love it.
Oh, any fan, yeah.
Exactly, being petty. And then he hits 61 in Toronto, and I guess the whole story of it is, like, where do you rank this, though, in, like, offensive, greatness? Like where do you rank this among everything else? Like, obviously we know, Bonds with the 73 and what McGuire and everybody did. Ty Cobb batting 406 in a season, and like all these amazing things. The Joe DiMaggio hit streak. Like, I don't know, Michael, where do you rank it? Because I think people will think I'm biased, but I'll go after you. But
well, it's obviously a great defeat, no matter what. I'll give you that. Obviously, there's that. But is it bad that I'll say that I'm not super like, wow, this is great?
It's interesting to me.
It's fun and it's great. I'll be honest with you, and I may be the only one on this, but I've actually been more interested watching Pujols. Just for the fact of his career, of what he's gone through, how great he was as a Cardinal, watching him play quite a bit as a Reds fan, playing Cardinals off and on, going to the Angels, disappearing, and then going over to the Dodgers, then coming back to the Cardinals, and apparently Tom Brady said, hey, this is what I eat, this is how I work out, here you go, now you can get it. I'm saying apparently, and all of a sudden now he's able to do what he used to do in a different scale. And Pujols has found the fountain of youth and is playing well. He could play a couple more years at this rate. So I've actually been more interested in watching Pujols break the 700 club for the fact that he's played great. He's disappeared. He's got the career back. He's already said it's his final year. and he still was able to do it because people were saying, "Hey, will he be able to do it? Will he break it? If you don't, will you come back?" And he was just basically having the time of his life. And not that I'm trying to say this is what he said, this is what he said, but did you hear what Pujols did with his 700th ball?
No, what?
I
That
think
he
it was
didn't
700.
get it back. He didn't. I know he didn't get it back.
Well, the person had some type, and I can't remember, and I apologize. Jared, I know you're a Cardinals fan. You may know the story. But the lady had something happen, like medical, where it was crazy that she was even able to be at the game and all this stuff. And then he asked for the ball back. She's like, "Man, it's awesome that I caught this ball." Da, 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 da. And he goes, "You know what? That ball actually means more to you having it than it would to me. You keep it." That's awesome. I mean, you
ever heard
can't.
you ever heard the story of Maris's 61st home run?
I have not. Would you like to fill me in on this?
Well, I mean, yeah. If you were done with your story, obviously.
Well,
I interrupt.
it's just
because it's giving me same vibes type of thing.
Okay. So, yes, absolutely astonishing what Judge has done because it's every stat line as well. Now, I'll say that probably helps me more think what Judge has done is even better because nowadays in this new era, everyone's swinging for the fences because of the shift. We have to hit home runs. So home runs is what they're going for. So, I mean, I actually think someone else will soon hit 62. They may not bat as good as they did, as Judge has in all this other categories, but I think someone will be close very soon because everyone's swinging for the fences.
No, I mean, I guess I know where you're coming from. I mean, I was looking at it more of like where his season ranks among like great offensive seasons of all time. Like, I think, I guess, yeah, the fact that he's at 700 is probably the bigger accomplishment because I think he's the fifth person now. Also, Poole said he doesn't care about the records, just wants to win the World Series, in it for the team and cares about the fans.
Pujols also a veteran. Like, he knows exactly what to say. Like, you know, he's not going to be blindsided by anything. Like, I mean, you can have Judge, who is a veteran too, but Pujols is so seasoned out. Like, he don't have to say this. I mean, even Mr. 3000, the movie, by the time he was on, like, oh man, you know, who cares?
Well, that's the thing, Joe. That's what Judge is saying too. Like yesterday, everybody's asking about him tying the record, and he was like, I mean, the important part was it was a 2-run home run that gave us the lead because we had just given it up. It made it made the game 5-3 when they had just tied it 3-3. So he was like, that was the important part. He was like, yeah, hitting the home run was cool, but like the fact that it helped us win the game is what was really important.
Right.
And it's like, it's that stuff that you're like, okay, maybe this, I can actually, you know, like this guy.
Right.
But just for the Maris thing real quick, he hit his 61st home run. The dude caught it and was going to give it back to Maris. And he said, nah, you keep it. The money means more to you than the ball will mean to me. And the guy sold it for like $5,000 back in the day, which I think is like, even then though, I think it's only equivalent to like $50,000 today, which, I mean, you hand me $50,000, I'll gladly take it, but it's certainly not the $2 million that Judge's home run ball is going to get.
Right.
But he took the $50,000 and bought a house, and that's where he raised his kids.
Oh, wow.
So like that was
that's
the whole
cool.
Yeah, that's the Maris story. And that's why it's been kind of fun too. And we're gonna get into his comments that like Roger Maris Jr. Obviously Maris died really young. I think he died in his like late 40s. But Roger Maris Jr. has been like traveling with the Yankees since Judge hit his 60th.
Really?
So he was there for the entire Boston series. He went to Toronto. He was sitting next to Judge's mom when Judge hit the 61st home run. Also did not know until a couple days ago that Judge is adopted.
Hey, that's awesome. Me too.
Yo, listen, and I'm kind of a cynical person, so like I'll say this. How mad do you think the biological parents are?
They probably don't even know, man.
You don't think that they know who their kid is?
No.
I mean, if they do know, listen, if they do, what do you mean? How would they? You act like no adoptive parents ever kept up with their child.
Well, okay, I'm adopted, and I do not know who my adopted parents are.
Have you ever tried to seek it out?
I have, actually. If you would like to know. When I turned 18, I actually got a letter. Oh, yes, Jared, I am adopted. And my sister, too. Not from the same family. But Well, adopted to the same family, obviously.
No, really.
But anyways, yeah, rolls are bread. Who would have thought? So
everybody that lives here.
When I turned 18, my birth mother gave me a letter that actually I had apparently since I was born, because obviously I don't know who she is and she don't know who I am. But by law, I didn't even know about it until I turned 18. My mom kept it hid from me until I turned 18. She said, listen, by law, I couldn't give this to you until now. So here's your letter. Do whatever you want to with it. So in the letter, she said that she was 17 years old, wish she could have raised me, da-da-da-da-da. On the birth certificate, actually says she was 15, so we're not really sure how old my birth mother was, but it did have a name. We were able to find, actually, I was born in Lexington. The name of the hospital, it was UK, University of Kentucky Hospital. So we thought that the birth mother would have lived in the Lexington area, but the house actually was in Louisville. I'm sorry, not Louisville, but Florence, which is more closer to Cincinnati, but it had
Italy,
the Lexington
right?
name. Okay. Yeah, Italy. So it had the Lexington name on it because it was like a motherless, let's see here, unwed mother's home. Never heard of this either, but it had Lexington name on it. So we were looking at the wrong area. So we finally got to there and they're like, oh, yes, we love this. So thankful that you're trying to find your parents. It's a wonderful story. And they said they would get back to us when they find our files. And then they called us a couple days later and they said the files have been closed by the birth mother. So I cannot actually find anything out. So therefore, she shouldn't know anything about me either, other than she knows what she wanted to name me. Of course, my adoptive parents could have changed that name. But you want to hear a fun story?
Sure. We're already in the midst of one.
Yeah, let's just go. Everybody out there, you know what? I need a show about my life in general. So ABC, NBC, any of you guys watching this, here we go. So my mom and dad adopted my sister, right? 2 years later, they forgot to take their name off the adoption list. They get a call about me, and they weren't wanting to adopt. But we are of a faith family. They prayed about it and asked, for some kind of sign that the Lord would give them, let them know, hey, this is meant for me or meant for them and all this stuff. And so they went through with everything, just the process. And the nurse came out holding me, apparently.
They said, this kid is so ugly, nobody else will take him. Please take him.
Yes. And actually said, their birth mother has already named him, but obviously you can change his name. And mom said, well, we actually want to name him Michael. Wow. And the nurse smiled, and my birth mother had actually named me Michael too. So they said, okay, that's probably the sign. We are good. Let's go. Bam. So how cool is that?
It's amazing. What are the odds?
I mean, for real though.
No, yeah, I don't. That's crazy. What are the odds?
And of course, you know that my adopted daughter is born on my son's birthday and my wife's birthday as well. So it's just a lot of great stories.
It's something. It's certainly something.
Absolutely. All right. So where were we to get into this?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Judge is adopted.
Yeah, Judge is adopted. Gave the ball to his mom though. Saw that. Talked, and Roger Maris Jr. actually hadn't met Judge until after the game. That game where he hit a 61st because he said he didn't want to mess with anything. He was like, we'll meet him after the game and everything, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, listen, and everybody will call me biased, but I got some backup for it as well because Buster Olney, who's been covering baseball for God knows how long, said the same thing. Jeff Passan has said it's up there as well. I think that this might be the greatest offensive season we've ever seen. And I understand, Barry, what he did. There's always the asterisk next to it. Ty Cobb with what he did with the 406 and all these great batting averages. But Michael, do you know what the MLB batting average, like average is? Like the average of batting averages is?
For like the whole
career? League. No, the whole league this year.
Okay, this year I would say it's like 250, maybe 227, 224, even worse.
The average player is hitting 224. There were complaints at the beginning of the year that they deadened the baseballs. You know how a couple years ago everybody was hitting 55 home runs. where they obviously were juicing the baseballs. They were, the things this year that they had dead in them.
Right.
Let's see. He's hitting 314, which is obviously leading the American League, and that's also what I just said, 224. So almost 100 points better than the MLB average. The next closest person to him is Kyle Schwarber in home runs. I believe he has 42. So he has a 19 home run lead on the next closest person. And I also believe that he's leading. It's either him or Pete Alonso, because I know Judge was leading for a while, and then Alonso's gotten hot recently. I also think he's leading the entire major leagues in RBIs.
Oh, I'm sure he's got 61 for himself.
Well, yeah, he's leading the league in runs, I'll tell you that. And OPS and on-base percentage and WAR. I think he has an 11 WAR, by the way. 11. Which there's only 2 players in MLB history to have, when they started doing WAR, to have a 10 WAR season. It's Trout and Mookie Betts. I think Mookie Betts actually did it twice. So he joins that list. But
as a whole, yes, I have to agree with you. As far as like all the stat lines, I thought you just kind of meant as far as just the home runs, like how's that?
No. Offensive season.
I mean, what he's done with the power that he's displaying too, with still having a batting average so high. I mean, it is great. That's all.
See, and like that's the thing too. The craziest part to me is that's not even what does it for me, because you have to think about it. And funny enough, which I mean, you could have made a whole lot of jokes about it, but Sunday Night Baseball, when it was the Yankees and the Red Sox, the K-Rod cast with Michael K and A-Rod, they do like the simulcast thing, kind of like the Manning brothers do. It was Roger Clemens, A-Rod, obviously, and Barry Bonds. They had all on at the same time. So obviously, a lot of steroids in that room, some would say. But
exactly,
like if you think about it, Bonds was facing, and he said it too, like he was facing the same pitcher three or four times in the game sometimes. A-Rod was doing the same. They weren't throwing. Like, that's why it's impressive. It's more impressive to me, because you have to think about what Judge is facing compared to what everybody else has faced in MLB history. Like, you go back to, if you want, like you can start from the beginning. You go back to Babe Ruth, and he was facing the same pitcher, and they were probably throwing 82 miles an hour and some pitchers would pitch 15 innings a game. And they were pitching on 3 days of rest. Every single one of them probably needed some type of surgery, but nobody knew what surgery was back then. So they obviously weren't giving them Tommy John. So there's that. But like pitchers, and I don't think this is really that much of an argument, Michael. I think you would agree that pitchers are more talented today than they've ever been. And I think that's pretty clear to me. Like, Michael, Johan Duran of the Twins, I believe he's on, threw a splitter 102 miles an hour.
No.
It's an off-speed pitch. That is what a splitter is, an off-speed pitch. He threw it 102. DeGrom this year threw a 96 mile an hour slider. Like, you're facing pitchers like that and hitting 314 with 61 home runs. Talented but can't pitch anymore, usually 5 innings and they're done. I mean, yeah, but to me, that's almost more ammunition, because you have to think about it. Like, you could have 5 at-bats in a game in today's MLB and face 5 different pitchers.
I'm with you, and I agree with your point to an extent, but when you're facing some of those other pitchers, they're not starters for a reason. And I'm not bad-mouthing them saying that our relief pitchers aren't good, but I'm just saying, like, as you see the other pitchers, they do decline some. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a discrepancy as far as that part of it. But I'm not saying that I'm putting much weight on that. Excuse me. I would almost say probably the more into that, though, you could probably get more of a repetition on what those other pitchers would be pitching, because not by eye watching them, but just by film. Because, yes, our pitchers are getting more talented, and yes, you're facing more pitchers, but there's so much software videos that are not done by trash cans that you can kind of take the time to game study, game film, if you will, see if they give any kind of signs through that they can probably research as well. There's something on my screen. Sorry, ADHD. And I bet you they spend a lot more time in that side of it than we would probably even realize.
Oh, no. I mean, absolutely. Like, Judge gets out and he goes back to the dugout and stares at an iPad of like what he did.
Right. And probably more of what they did too. Because I don't care. I would really like to see, because, when TJ Antone, Cincinnati Reds relief pitcher, that joined our show, actually, it's been a year last week, I think, since he's been on the show. How cool is that? But when he was on here, he was talking about how his start of summer last year, he was working on a pitch, and I can't remember what the pitch was, but he said through his statistics that he was seeing that he was throwing more changeups at certain times. So he was throwing more fastballs at a certain time. So he started to make himself throw changeups more. So, I mean, that there's some type of pattern that they unnaturally, I guess naturally really do, subliminally do without even knowing it. What am I trying to say? Unconsciously do.
Yeah.
That can be picked up on. And sometimes, with that being said, knowing that they try to avoid that, I mean, if you're up there and you're facing the same relief pitcher for 3 nights in a row, because, sometimes the relief you do pitch maybe 2, maybe 3. So, I mean, you're seeing those guys numerous times in numerous days where you can have extra days to research them. You could probably say, hey, man, in the 3 times I faced them in the past 2 days, he's thrown me 60% fastballs, 40% off speed. So I know when I get up here, let me change it a little bit. Let's say 70% fastball, 30%. So I'm probably going to come up here and look for an early fastball, but I bet you he's going to throw me something off speed to try to average that percentage back out, so I don't look for the fast always.
No, I get what you mean, but
yeah,
it's, I don't know. It's just crazy to me because
simple-minded in Kentucky.
I mean, I still agree with that. Because you go back and look at things like relief pitchers were coming out and they were throwing 93 and everybody was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are throwing 93 miles an hour. Like, every single person that comes out of a bullpen now, like, if you don't throw
95,
yeah, like, it's like, how are you even in the majors?
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless you're a submarine pitcher or like a crazy sidewinder or you have like a knuckleball, it's like you're not throwing 95. There's literally no reason for you to be on this team.
There will be that pitcher that doesn't do that and has command painting the corners with some nasty stuff that's going to be so slow at the 80s and low 90s.
Well, that's what Nestor Cortez is.
And they're going to be like, oh, we can't hit this. We're not used to it.
I mean, Nestor Cortez, I think, has the fourth lowest ERA in the majors since last year. Like, in the majors.
Oh, yeah.
Pitcher for the Yankees. And I mean, he really throws his arm out. He's throwing 94.
Really?
Like, really throws his arm out. But he also goes up there and he'll quick pitch you every a couple times. Then the next pitch he'll go into the windup and he'll sit there and swing his leg and move back and forth, and then he'll pitch it. So he's really big into throwing off the timing of people.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pitches like that.
Brilliant.
No, yeah, it is, because I mean, you think, and there was a point in the season where it looked like teams had finally adjusted to him because he was throwing a lot of like backdoor cutters and stuff, and people. So now he started coming in instead, and it's worked very, very well. He's been the best pitcher on the team this season. So Chris Carpenter was a huge fastball player, but he had the nastiest curveball I've ever seen. I'd rather see command over speed. I mean,
I would too.
I mean, yeah, I guess, because you look at, I mean,
Greg Maddux.
Usually, yeah, well, great command usually will leave you in the league a lot longer, but that's the scary thing now. Like, I've seen plenty of pitchers in the majors that are throwing 100 and absolutely dotting it on the corner. So the fact that that a lot of people have both now is what makes hitting nearly impossible. Before we move on, just last thing on Judge. So after the game, like I said, Roger Maris Jr. had been following the Yankees around, obviously, and watching him for the record. He said after the game I think people should look at Judge as the true home run champion. Major League Baseball should like look into the records and like do what's right and everything, blah blah. Excuse me. And I see a lot of people getting mad about it. And like I think everybody has their opinion on what the home run record is. Bonds hit 73. That's in the record books. That's what MLB acknowledges. If you want to believe he did steroids or not, you can. 72 is the home run record. So. I want to say, or 763. No, I think 770. Maybe 774. I don't know. I gotta think about it.
762. I'm pretty sure. Because I think once you said it's kind of like the number of games. Of 160.
Yeah, it is. All right. It's 762, yes. 762 is what Barry Bonds has. Hank Aaron has 755.
His Braves pitching was great.
It was. Too bad the Yankees beat them in the World Series easily.
That's the late 90s.
They still had, Maddox.
Could beat Bobby Cox.
They still had Maddox.
Glavine.
Just saying.
Who was their other one?
Anyway, I don't like I said, everybody has their opinion on the home run record. I understand that they're never going to take it away from Bonds. I still think everything that he's done, and McGuire and Sosa, like they all deserve an asterisk next to it in my eyes. Just like I think the World Series that the Astros has deserves an asterisk next to it, because you at least know that Sosa and McGuire didn't do it clean. Bonds to this day says that he never did anything, blah blah blah. I mean, the dude gained like 60 pounds of muscle when he got to San Francisco. Quite fishy if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But
you won't like that little scramble by Bridgewater, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I like it more if he just kept throwing it to Tyreek Hill. Since I have him in fantasy, I'm looking to go 4-0 in my big money league. But yeah, Sosa also did get caught using the cork bat. You are correct. But what was I going to say?
Okay.
So Roger Maris Jr. said that it should be that when he hits 62, he's a home run record. And like the reason I'm not really mad at him, you have to think about it. Like, first of all, it's his father. So if his dad is the one that had 61, that was the record before everybody, started breaking in the steroid era and everything like that. And the thing that makes it worse to me and why I really understand why he hates the other records so much, like Major League Baseball did the same thing they're doing with Judge, but with McGuire. So when he was going for 61 and when he eventually hit the 70, like they had Roger Maris Jr. there. So, obviously a record is being broken that your father held. You probably already don't really love that. Like even when Judge hit the 61st to tie it, you could see in Junior's eyes, he was like, damn, I really wish he didn't do that. Like it's my dad. Like it's your dad, And then the thing that I can fully understand why he hates it so much is imagine following McGuire around. He's breaking a record that stood for a while. It's your father. And then a few years later, finding out he cheated to get to it. Like that has to sting real bad. Like that, Michael, let's use your little fishing thing as a, as a little comparison here. What if you catch the biggest bass in the history of Kentucky when you go fishing tomorrow? All of a sudden, 50 years down the line, Michael, unfortunately, you might have been passed away by then. Hopefully not. I hope you live a long life.
I'll be 96, so
however long you want to live, Michael.
Or 86.
And then, all of a sudden, some other dude catches one, and they bring your son out, and he's like, "Oh, this is really cool." And then you find out, since this is 50 years later, it was a prosthetic fish, wasn't even real. But they still give him the record because it's like, oh well, he technically caught it. Like you're not. Like, you're still gonna. I understand. Like you're gonna hold on to that.
There'd be a grudge, yeah.
Yeah, like you're gonna hold on to that because it's yours.
Which is probably why he thinks Judge is the home run king.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't blame him for saying anything. Like
absolutely,
you see Twitter and everything. Oh, this is a joke. Blah blah blah. This that. Like shut up and like. It's his father's record, and the people that beat it have all been tied to cheating with steroids.
Mm-hmm.
and this is like the first person that's tied it now, hopefully beats it, that there has been absolutely zero allegations. And I mean, they get tested pretty regularly now. Like we have Tatis obviously found out. So, I understand it.
Padres.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, at first I was kind of like, I think it might be more of a publicity, just to be like, not in a bad way publicity when I say that, more for showmanship, I guess, to be like, oh, this is the true king because he just passed it now. Probably because he ain't going to catch anyone else. But hearing that side of the story, I can kind of see more of a grudge comment on that, and I would totally be the same way because, I mean, even Sosa with the corked bats, who said technically it was his practice bats that he was using, who knows? McGuire, I mean, I can say her name.
McGuire admitted to using steroids.
Right. That's what so far, Anthony. Years later, right? You can't. So that's what is kind of weird. Like, he was probably fine passing it on then, but then go back to find out that they lied about it or they cheated. That's definitely going to leave a sour taste in your mouth. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just weird because I think Reggie Bush is a person who won the Heisman Trophy that they took from because he cheated, I think, his GED or something. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think he cheated
why they took away his Heisman?
Yeah.
No, it was because he was illegally recruited there. They paid him.
They paid him. Okay. I was thinking it was a GED. That might have been OJ Mayo or somebody else. But anyways, they took it because of breaking rules.
Yeah.
So technically, he's not the Heisman winner, right?
Yeah.
So why haven't they taken that from them?
I can't tell you. I mean, I guess it's because.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Well, I mean, a lot of people think too that Bud Selig, who was that was the commissioner of baseball then, right? Or that's not who was the old NBA commissioner? I always mix them up for some reason.
Silver. I see his face.
I can see his face too. I can't think of his name, but it's not Bud Selig, right?
No.
Okay, so Bud Selig was definitely the old commissioner of baseball. Like, a lot of people think he turned a blind eye to it. That, they knew baseball was kind of struggling. Everybody started taking steroids, and he was just like, if I don't see you putting it, injecting it, then guess
why
what?
Wouldn't he turn a blind eye, though? Because look how great baseball was then.
Well, you see, the hypocritical thing, though, is, Michael, and this is probably why they haven't taken the records away. They already took the Hall of Fame away from them. Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame. And he was the commissioner during the era, which a lot of people think that he was just like, hey, if I don't see you injecting it, it certainly didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you can't really take something away if
David
the
Stearns.
guy in charge was
that
like,
it?
Yes.
David Stearns?
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Whew, thank goodness. But here's my thing, and I didn't think about it, but I want to bring this out loud to people on social media that may hear this. Jimmy in our Unwrapped Sports, who you guys need to follow, he opens up cards all the time, and go check him out. It's Unwrapped This. He had mentioned that not only were McGuire and Bonds cheating.
Oh, yeah, the pitchers were too.
So were the pitchers, and A-Rod too. So he doesn't really, in our chat that we talked about, he said, yeah, it was wrong, but was it really as wrong as people act like? Because they were hitting dingers off people cheating too. So they were just as juiced as the batters. And hearing that point kind of makes me think, hey, okay, like they kind of cancel each other out, don't they?
I see where people come from it that way, but I still kind of disagree because listen, not every single pitcher was like that's the other thing.
Well, not every batter was.
Okay, but that's the thing, Michael. The batters that we're talking about are the ones that have broken the records.
Mm-hmm.
We can't sit here and act like every single pitcher they hit against was doing it, and obviously we can't say every single batter was doing it as well. So maybe some of those strikeouts that Clemens had, even though he claims that he never did anything either.
He did not.
I mean, whatever. So what should we take? That means you got to take away some of his strikeouts, and maybe take away some of his Cy Youngs as well. And I think that's why
you have to go back. This is what would be crazy. This
That's
is
what I'm
the
saying.
only way.
I think that's why they don't do it, because then you start the slippery slope of like, okay, well, this team had a steroid hitter and pitcher, so we got to take away his strikeouts, his home runs. Oh, did they win a World Series that year? Yeah, we should probably take away their World Series as well because they were a cheating team. But like, they're never going to do any of that. I mean, we had the perfect example with the Astros. They could have taken away their World Series very easily, and they didn't do it.
I mean, really, the MLB has basically told us for years, for decades now, cheat and win, and then just take a slap on the wrist if it even happens.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, Hall of Fame, yes, that sounds like it would be awesome. But if I got a ring, a championship ring, got the pays for the increase that you get for that now, and carry on with my millions just because that I did a little juice and hit a few more home runs and maybe get caught. Hall of Fame is in the future. Okay, I got caught. Hey, I guess I ain't going to the Hall of Fame, but I'm a multi-million-dollar.
Well, all right. Well, here's the rebuttal. Here's a very easy rebuttal.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do it, but
no,
why wouldn't people do it?
I know. But if you made the Hall of Fame, you're obviously a great player anyway, so you made your multi-millions of dollars. It's not like you had to take the steroids to win the World Series. And
did I? I mean, what if I did? Like, what if the steroids made me win the World Series? Is what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying, but you said made a multi-million-dollar contract and things like that. Now I'm a multi-millionaire with a ring. Okay, and
what I was saying, the only reason why I'm not getting the Hall of Fame is because I did steroids.
I think I'd rather make the Hall of Fame. It's a way more exclusive club.
It's not that exclusive.
The Hall of Fame?
It's not that exclusive anymore. Everyone is in the Hall of Fame. I hate to be that, but that's what it is.
Baseball's isn't. Baseball is still the hardest Hall of Fame to get into.
I will agree.
Thing I'll give them credit for.
I will agree.
Getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame is much more like the NBA Hall of Fame is a joke.
Yeah.
The NBA Hall of Fame is the worst Hall of Fame I've ever seen in my entire life.
And I agree with Jared here. He says
no, they would have made the Hall of Fame without steroids, which is why
for our podcasters, just to clarify, he said McGuire, Sosa, Bonds all were great and would have been Hall of Famers without steroids.
Why it is absolutely mind-boggling why they would even do it.
But we don't know how long they were doing it. They could have been on steroids the whole time.
Well, then they were never good enough.
That's the thing. Like, the only way, and I'm kind of going back, we're circling around here, but the only way that you can actually justify what records are what is actually do like a whole test, make sure everyone tells the truth, and say, did you do steroids? When did you do them? Okay, go back through the records. Okay, you were on steroids during this stint. You were a pitcher. You struck out this guy. He was on steroids. We'll count that strikeout.
Oh,
he was not. I mean, there's no way that they could do it. No. But I think if they knew that they were on steroids and they were cheating, then technically, I mean, I don't understand why the records hold.
I think you just get into that whole slippery slope thing of like, do we really want to do this? Because then we got to take this away from that person. So I don't know. Listen,
has anyone ever been kicked out of the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
Because I just wondered, I mean, like, what if Bonds made it in before they found out he did steroids and be like, whoa, like.
Well, I mean, I don't think so because there are technically cheaters in the Hall of Fame because like Gaylord Perry, I think he was a pitcher like back, I don't know when, but like the thing that he talks about all the time, I spitball like that was my main pitch when I played. That's an illegal pitch like that. That is literally illegal to do in the game of baseball. And he literally wrote a book about it.
That's pretty awesome.
He wrote a book about the spitball. So, like, he's in the Hall of Fame, and he's openly admitted to it. And it's not like they went back and said, wow, you threw a spitball? Well, we're taking you out now.
I agree. But, like, me being a Reds fan, let's go here. Which one's worse? Betting on your team to win or using steroids to give yourself an advantage?
I mean, this is why you got to go into the whole. This is why you go into the I can't think of the word here. Circumstances. Here we go. Because
I agree. Jared says he was done wrong. I think so. Because the man has seriously used circumstances. Let me hear your circumstances first.
If you're betting on your own team to win, there's no way you don't manage the game differently.
Exactly. If not harder.
No. But this is where it turns into kind of against you.
Okay.
So what if I bet on this game? I know I want to win this one. I'm putting out the best lineup possible. I'm using my best bullpen people. I'm pushing everybody to the max. And then the next game, I didn't bet on it, so I don't really care what happens in this one. I can use my low end relief guys. I can do this. I can do that. Like you're going all in to win one game. So how do you know that doesn't affect the next 3 games? Because all of a sudden you just used, 2 different players, and now you can't use them in the next game, and you can't do this and you can't do that. Like that's where it gets into the whole thing of like, okay, you won that game, but did you get into at what cost?
But at some point you have to play those players anyways.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying,
so
what if it's a 0-0 game in the 6th inning? All of a sudden you bring in your best reliever because you have to get out of a bases loaded situation because you have to win that game. And then in the next game, you can't throw your best reliever because he pitched the day before. He's tired. And now you're up 1-0 in the 9th inning, which is where he would usually pitch. And now you can't pitch him because he pitched the day before. You put some other dude in. He gives up a 2-run home run. You lose the game.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I do, but I don't agree with it at all because if you're trying to win games, you're going to do that anyways, right? Like, I mean, you're going to pitch your best player to try to win a game.
But I'm saying you manage it differently. If you know you have to win that game, do you bring in your best reliever in the 6th inning when you normally would never? But you have to win.
You're talking about like the way they do in World Series. Well, I mean, I don't think he was doing that part of it because, I mean, back then they were pitching to 6, 7, 8 innings and then bringing in closers. They didn't do the system that they're doing now. So, I mean, I understand your point, but in that era, they weren't doing that.
I don't listen.
We don't know the record. Like how many games was he betting on?
If he's smart, I could not tell you. You don't. So, I don't know. I disagree with that so much. You don't manage it the same way every time. I've bet $5 on a game before, and I've watched it like my life depended on it because I'm trying to win money. You don't think if you have actual control over the game and you have money on it, you're not doing it differently?
Thanks, Rob, for liking our show right now. Appreciate that.
Shout out, Rob.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I think, yes, you would. Obviously, I'm going to be honest with you. You would maybe not manage as intense on the games that you don't bet, but at the same time, he's not going to be playing to try to win because he would be fired. Like, I don't think he's going to say, I'm going to use
manage differently.
I mean, you managed a little differently, but you can't. You can't say that he's going to manage like, oh, let's just play our peasants now. Like, bring up our.
I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying, listen, in baseball, one game always affects the next one. Like, it's not football.
Do you know Pete Rose?
No, personally, I can't say I do.
I mean, like, have you ever watched him like play?
No,
and
he's an insane competitor. I know that.
So I don't think it would be in his blood ever to be like, we're just going to take this one off. Like, I think that would eat at him.
Money is a very powerful thing.
Jared even said he was playing the game at the time while managing. So that would be – anyways, we may be getting too far into it, but because we're going more to Pete than we are Judge and the home runs. I'm just – what do you think really is worse, the gambling compared to the steroids?
I mean, like I said, it's the circumstances. Like, I mean, I obviously like if –
well, let me say this then, since it's
because this is if it's a Black Sox situation, or with the White Sox where they were throwing World Series games, then yeah, the gambling is worse.
Right.
But if then there's
in this situation, The only time technically he was doing something wrong was when he bet. So if you were using yours when he wouldn't play hard, he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just choosing to lose, which I disagree with
listen,
you.
here's my other thing too. The fact that Pete, and don't get me wrong, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because he did this while he was coaching. Like he wasn't a player. He's going into the Hall of Fame.
He was playing and managing.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
He was never just a manager. He was always a coach, a player coach.
Well, during this time, he was playing and managing.
I thought he was just managing when he was betting. I mean, I guess I don't know, but like, you're going into the Hall of Fame as a player. You're not going in as a coach. And obviously, as a player, he has what, like 4,000 something hits?
You know what? I'm messaging him right now. I'm tweeting Pete. Pete, need to come on the show.
Listen, we got to move past this because we're not even. Hey,
we're not even to our points.
Michael, do you know who Gavin Escobar is?
Can you tell me?
He was a former Cowboy tight end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about then. Yeah.
Dead. He died.
Can you break that news a little bit in a different way?
Apparent rock climbing accident.
Oh, okay.
I would listen. God bless rock climbers. I've seen some of those clips. Real scary. I'm good. I like my big self on the ground, not hanging off of rocks. Real scary. But listen, we gotta go on because we've been here for an hour 16. I mean, I don't know how much of this has been baseball anyway. But
it's been fun.
It has been. It's been a decent time. The other big story right now is the Mets and the Braves are on just a beautiful, almost scripted-like collision course for the division. So the Mets have a one-game lead right now over the Braves, and they have a 3-game series coming up that starts tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And listen, the Mets have to win one game, and they would own the tiebreaker over the Braves because that means they would have won more games during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, the Braves sweep here. They would have the division lead, and then it goes into the last season of this, the last series of the season where I believe the Mets play the Nationals and the Braves play the Marlins. So both teams aren't playing anybody, very good to end the season. But at the end of the day, you still got to play those games. And I mean, hey, the Mets lost to the Pirates a couple times. The Braves lost to the Phillies. No, it wasn't the Phillies. I think it was the Nationals, actually. They hit a walk-off against them yesterday. So that's why they have the one-game lead. But I think that this is just a beautiful collision course for the MLB. Talk about some exciting baseball right at the end of the season. The last game of the series, which obviously if the Braves win the first two, could mean an awful lot, is on Sunday Night Baseball. So that'll be fun. Everybody can watch that. I don't know. I think it's really exciting. The Mets have a 1-game lead. I think DeGrom pitches Friday. Bassett might pitch on Saturday, and I think Scherzer's Sunday. So obviously the Mets have a pretty good advantage, you would think, there in the pitching, but I believe the last 3 starts, DeGrom's given up like 15 runs.
Oh, so wow.
He has not been the Jacob DeGrom that we're used to. Michael, he had a 42, I believe, game streak of quality starts, which is, I believe, over 5 innings with 3 earned runs or less. He gave up 5 runs, I think, in the first inning to the Oakland A's.
Speaking of the Mets, I don't know how breaking this is if you've seen it, but I just now seen it. Mets just called up their number 1 prospect, too.
Oh, Alvarez?
Yeah, I'm checking his name now.
I believe it's Francisco Alvarez. He's a catcher. And they have had some struggles at catcher. Oh, that is pretty exciting. I think he was one of the top prospects in baseball as well. I think he was
40 minutes ago. While we've been live, this has been broken on MLB.com.
Wow. Okay.
Yo, Alvarez.
But yeah, what do you think about this series? You excited to watch? Because I actually am. I think this might be. And listen, we've talked about baseball being a regional sport, and I mean, I guess I can't really say that because it is technically New York still, but it's not the Yankees, so honestly, I normally don't care, but I think I'll tune in. Obviously, I got to watch Judge's at bats to make sure he hits 62. But in between those, I might be tuned in because I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh yeah, I think so too. The Mets, I think it's who you picked to win the World Series.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I think with them and the White Sox, which by the way, the White Sox got eliminated from playoff contention today. So
it happens. So yeah, I'm interested in it because the Mets, I think, have been a awesome team this year. Yeah, I think it's going to be nationally watched if possible.
Well, Sunday night, like I said, Sunday night is Sunday Night Baseball, obviously. So.
Oh, we're right.
So that game will be on, and that could be the deciding game of the season, really, because that's the other thing too, and that's why I really do kind of enjoy what they've done with the wild card and like adding the extra team. Winning the division finally means so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you wanted to win your division before because you didn't want to play in the wild card game, but now it's a wild card series. So you got to think about it. Like, you're going – because let me just pull up the playoff bracket right here. So we'll see where everybody stands. This is at the moment, of course.
While you're bringing that up, I'm on MLB and looking at the probable pitching matchups. The Saturday game is going to be Max versus Kyle Wright, who is 20-5.
Wow. And I know Max Fried is pitching on Friday, who is very good for the Braves, and obviously DeGrom is DeGrom.
Let's see here.
And then I don't know who Friday is. Friday should be Bassett. I don't know who's pitching for the Braves. I don't know if he's decent or not.
Friday.
Anyway. Yeah, who's
Today's
Friday?
The 29th, right?
Today is the 29th. You would be correct.
Okay, I can tell you in 2 seconds. And by that, I mean minutes. Oh, DeGrom and Fried is pitching tomorrow.
DeGrom and Fried? Okay.
Yeah.
And then who's Saturday?
Who I just said. Wright and Max.
That's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so you had me lost here.
Okay, so
let me see who's pitching Sunday.
So Friday is DeGrom and Fried.
Yes.
Saturday is Max and
Right.
And then Sunday is who? I would assume Chris Bassett for the Mets. He is their number 3 starter.
Bassett and Charlie Morton.
I mean, hey, listen, the rookie pitcher for the Braves did get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So he would probably be, believe it or not, their game 3 starter because that's how good he's been this season. But I mean, this would probably be the big 3 for a playoff series. So this is going to be good. This is going to be good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Morton's got 200 strikeouts, which actually leads some of the other ones that I was looking there as I called them out. Bassett only has 165, but he's 15-8 with the 3.27 ERA, while Morton is 4.29 ERA at 9.6. So he's given up a few more runs this year, but I mean, he's striking out everyone. So I mean,
series is in Atlanta as well. It is in Atlanta, so
on ESPN at 7:08
Sunday night. Yeah, but you see, Michael, this is the important thing of like what I wanted to bring up. Right, this is why winning your division means so much more because you have to think about it. First of all, if you clinch your division, like the Yankees, Michael, the Yankee lineup yesterday was a joke. It was like
really
because they clinched. So yesterday was Wednesday. They clinched it on Tuesday. The lineup that they didn't play Gleyber Torres, Stanton, Rizzo, Jose Trevino, who's their all-star catcher. They didn't play Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's been their shortstop the entire season. I don't think they started Harrison Bader. And I think he came in later in the game as like a defensive replacement. But like their lineup was like Judge, Josh Donaldson, and then like Oswaldo Cabrera, who they called up 2 months ago. Oswald Peraza, who they called up and is a rookie. Like it is like they threw a joke of a lineup out because they can start you can start resting people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're fighting for that division all the way until the end and then you lose it, man, are you in a bad spot? Because you got to think about it now. You have to beat the let's just do the Braves and the Padres right now for that one. You obviously have to beat the Padres to get onto the Dodgers, but you have to throw your best pitchers to make sure that you go there. So say you go to a 3-game series, that's your top 3 pitchers. And then I think you would have a day off, and then the NLDS would start. So you probably have to pitch your 4th best pitcher in game 1 against the Dodgers in LA. And then game 2, you could start your number 1 starter. And then I think you could start your number 2 starter. And then you would have to start your number 4 starter again in a game 4, which, obviously is very big. And then a game 5, your number 1 and 2 starter probably still wouldn't be ready. So, you could probably pitch them as like an opener off of each other. Like maybe they could go 1 or 2 innings, and then the rest of the game would be a bullpen.
Openers.
Yeah, that's what it's called. You not think this season of baseball is a bit lopsided? Look how many teams are about to hit 100 wins. I mean, that's always kind of what baseball's been, though. Baseball is a little lopsided. It is a little top heavy for sure.
It's kind of like the beard game that's going on. Look at the lopside on my win.
I know it is a little. You could use a shave, one side sticking out more. You're right, it is lopsided.
I mean, compared to you, but I totally agree with you, Jared. As far as the lopsided, as far as the wins, because you got Astros. What are they, like 112 now? It seems like, and then the Dodgers, which is over 100 as well. The Yankees, what are they?
I want to say they're at 96. So they should win 100 games. I would hope I think they have 7 games left. And they're playing the Orioles and Rangers, who are terrible.
But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be a little bold on this. I don't think either one of those teams win the World Series as far as the Dodgers or Astros.
I don't know. The Dodgers are just – they're at 107 wins. Like, they are – unbelievably good.
They are.
Like they have the best starting pitching ERA in the league, and I think they have the best offense in the league. Their run differential this year, Michael, is plus 322. 322.
That's pretty good. But
the next closest to that,
when it comes to playoffs, pitching is a lot better. You can't just score runs.
Yes, and the Dodgers have the best pitching in baseball. The next closest in run differential is the Yankees, and it's 235. Like, that's almost 100 runs better, which is incredible. But I think, I don't know, like winning a division means a lot more because, you're going into game 1 with probably your 4th best starter. And obviously, if you're in the wild card, that means you're going to whatever team you're playing. It's not like it's a home series. So, man, you better try and win that division. And also, I like that winning finally means more too, because
I agree.
The Astros and the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets so far, obviously the Mets and the Braves are kind of interchangeable at the moment, I guess. They all get that first round bye. 5 days off they have. So you can set everybody up. Everybody gets that rest. You can get, maybe if some players are injured, those 5 days, they can really take some time, just go hard for the healing and, really get back into shape. But this playoffs is very, very intriguing to me because.
And on the other side, I didn't realize this, but the Nationals have now lost 101 games.
Yeah, not very good at baseball. They're not.
No, and the Reds are at 97.
Oh, nope. The Pirates are at 97. The Reds are at 96.
Mm-hmm. Athletics are at 99.
Okay. Kansas City's at 93. Look at Boston, 75 and 81. That makes my heart so happy. Yeah.
So,
Braves or Mets?
Welcome to the podcast, Matt.
I think the Braves end up winning the series. No. I think the Mets I think the Mets will win the division because I think they only have to win one game in the series to own the tiebreaker, and they already have a 1 game lead. So even if they take 2 out of 3, the Braves do, the Mets would still be up 1, right? Because they have the 1 game lead. So if they won a game, then they'd be tied. But then the Mets would win; they'd go back up 1.
What if the Braves went to the number 2 seed in this picture?
I would love to see a Dodgers Mets first round. I think it'd be great.
Do you really? It would almost be. I would like it for the fact that it's almost like the little brother stepping in. Like, hey, out of the shadows, let's compete here. But then you can have Mets and Dodgers in the NLDS.
Yeah, the NLCS for the Mets. I lied. I want an NLCS between the Mets and the Dodgers.
That's what it would be nice,
because then both teams would probably be at full strength because you get a couple days in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that'd be real fun.
Because the Brewers get the 6th seed.
Yeah, they're only a half game back of the Phillies. I think the Phillies. Let me check, but the Phillies are choking right now, Michael. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 5 games in a row,
and that's pitiful.
5 games in a row in the most important part of your season.
Yeah,
not exactly
what I had winning the World Series. We're going to the World Series.
Let's see. The Phillies, they lost to the Cubs today. What are we talking about? I mean, they do catch a break though because they have a doubleheader against the Nationals on Friday, and then they have 2 more games Saturday, Sunday against the Nationals. But then, Michael, I'm not going to lie. I hope they don't need the last 2 games of the season to determine it because they played the Astros.
Ooh, but the Astros may be resting.
No. You would think that, right? But Dusty Baker came out and said that for the integrity of baseball, he's not going to rest his players the rest of the year.
For the integrity coming from the Astros.
I know.
Shout out Dusty Baker, by the way. How are we not even going to talk about him? What is it? He's the only or one of 3 now to win a pennant on the AL and NL, and I think to have over 300 wins.
Once he gets that World Series ring, he can start talking.
I mean, but still, 1 of 3, that's pretty good.
I know, but no ring. Why is he always choking in the playoffs? What's going on?
He used to manage the Reds. He gave me a toothpick. How cool is that?
I've heard this like 100 times.
You know what? Dusty Baker gave me a toothpick.
The official scorer at the Renegades used to always use a toothpick.
Like, are toothpicks not weird? Like,
it's less strange to me because my nan always had a jar of toothpicks like next to the stove that she would like chew on every once in a while. So like I've always seen it. I don't understand it. Like I don't know why you would.
Like I understand the principle of a toothpick. It's to pick the food out of your teeth.
Chew on it all day is I don't. They use it as like an accessory. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of a little bit strange. A little strange. Not gonna lie.
It's like it's chewing gum, but it's not gum, nor can you chew it.
No, you cannot.
It's like a roll, but it's really bread.
Rolls are fantastic. All right, listen, we've gone over a lot. A bread debate, Judge 61, Braves, steroids.
Matt, are you still in the chat?
Oh, brother. You just extended the show by 45 minutes. You know that, right?
I just want to ask a yes or no question, or actually a one-word response after you say yes or no to "Are you in the chat?" And it must be no that he's not in the chat. Well, at least he joined for a little bit. Well, all right. What was you about to say there?
I was just going to say we're wrapping up the show. That's what I was going to say.
Alrighty. Sounds great.
Oh, look. I guess he is still here. He just doesn't care about what you have to say.
He must have us on mute and just putting random conversations going on here.
Listen, what's your question? Maybe you'll answer. Hurry up.
I was just going to ask Matt, if I ask you to go to a store to buy me bread, what would you come back with? And that's it. Just that simple question.
Listen, there's so many different types of bread that I just don't understand. I just don't understand. All right, listen. As for me, Anthony Conover _ on Twitter. You can find me there. Mondays is Generational Sports House at 7 Eastern. Me and Josh talk a little bit on everything. Make sure you follow it right there on Twitter. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use code GenZ to double your first deposit up to $100. Tuesdays is the hard count with me and CJ, breaking down everything in the football world. And then obviously me and Michael are here on Thursdays to talk baseball and bread, clearly.
Absolutely. You know what? Come and think about it. You know, my wife, like when she'll say, hey, I need to get bread, sometimes she will say, hey, pick up a loaf of bread. So maybe it's the loaf.
I don't know. Has to be like Michael, what are we doing here? Has to be like regular Nature's Own bread.
So it's bread. Thank you.
There's a lot of different types of bread.
All right. So you can find me. Of course, Backstop Banter is mine and Connie's. We manage the page on Twitter, but you can also find me on Twitter.
Make all the tweets.
I tweet some. But MD Lawson 00, and go into my bio. You can find a link tree there that has all my other social medias that you can find out. You can also catch me this Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where I'm on another show with a couple of other guys that look a lot better than Connie. And it is Count the Bucket, where we talk nothing about NBA, sometimes some college, which I'm really excited because they have started practicing college basketball now. Kentucky is already ranked 3, which is always way too high, but we do have a lot of veterans this year, so I'm excited about this year. They're about to
basketball, perfect time to take a nap.
They're going to have their blue and white scrimmage actually a couple counties over, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm sure I've talked to you about the big floods that's happened here in Kentucky here recently. It's kind of national. They're actually having it in Pike County, which is 2 counties over, and all the money that's from tickets are going to go to flood victims. So that's kind of cool.
As they should.
That's really awesome. Absolutely. So with that being said, yes, all that good stuff. Kentucky top 10 in football. Yes, we're actually 7th in football. How about that?
Wow.
We play everything.
Kentucky's a football school now.
Absolutely. Watch out. Those are fighting words in our state. Literally. Stoops and Calipari got in arguments because Calipari said we're a basketball school.
Good thing I would never go to Kentucky.
It's a good thing because you don't even know what gravy and biscuits are.
I do know what it is. I've just not had it.
It's pitiful. Or gravy and rolls. Would that be better? Gravy and rolls?
That's a biscuit.
But, yeah, I think that's it. Also, real quick, we'll say it again. If you need to stay up and listen to our show next time, go to thejavaseeds.com. Get your order of Java seeds, which is coffee seeds, sunflower seeds mixed with coffee. Use our promo code BANTER and get 20% off everything you order every time you order.
True.
And also, it helps us a little bit too. So
True.
We love that.
All righty. With all of that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate the comments. Michael, good time as always. And listen, everybody.
I missed you last week. Glad you're feeling better, by the way.
Oh, thanks. It means a lot. We will catch everybody on the next episode.